Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vaul, and in this video we're going to have a look at how we can create gradually transitioning bevels on complex rounded shapes. So we have had a look at transitioning bevels on relatively simple shapes. I did a video on that looking at two techniques, one using Mesh Machine and the other using the native tools in Blender. Both work pretty nicely and work well, but they are only going to really work on this relatively flat sort of shape. And I got challenged to try and do this on a more curved, rounded shape, and this is what I've come up with. So we're going to go through two methods here, one that is a bit more clunky, but it works. I wouldn't say it's the most efficient and it's destructive, which is sometimes positive or negative, and then we'll have a look at a method that I think is a bit cooler, just here, and that's going to be a bit easier in terms of just the workflow. It's going to be a bit faster, and because it's non-destructive we can always change this, but you can see we're going from a quite nice gradual transition where we've got a smaller bevel on the top side, and then on the right hand side we've got a much greater bevel, and we're making a smooth transition in between, and we can set this up to be whatever we want. So let's just start by setting up this curved shape. I'm just going to go into edge mode, Control and B to curve this. Let's just put this at 8 segments, something like that for now, and we're going to want to bevel this edge here with a smaller bevel here, transitioning through to a larger bevel here. Now, as I said, we're going to do this in two methods, so let's just Shift and D and Y this across. Now, what we are going to do as well is I'm just going to talk about a more simple method, which is a little bit easier and definitely faster, and then we'll talk about why this doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is just S and Y that here, and we'll do something different to what we did in the example that I showed at the beginning. There's a link to that video in the description, but I thought it'd be cool to cover a different method. So what I'm going to do is just add in some edge loops here. So this is going to be our transition, and we're going to start with a bevel. So what we'll do is select there to there, Control and B, and we're going to make our bevel however wide we want it to be. And I'll probably start with having it the maximum bevel that I want. So we're going to keep this bevel here to be this large. So how are we going to make this bevel smaller? Well, this is actually really easy to do. If I press T to bring up the T menu, and all I'm going to do is select these vertices here. Now what we want to do is basically scale these in on the original point of where this was, which was somewhere here, and we could do some shenanigans, which we're going to do on this cube, and I'll explain why. But if it's a simple straight object with everything on an axis, so you'll notice that this edge effectively is on the x-axis, just going along here, we don't really need to do too much. All we need to do is use a scale cage tool. So if we come to the scale tool on the T menu and then go to scale cage, you'll see that brings out this cage, and what you can do is you can select any point, and this basically works like you'd normally use scaling on most other programs. So I haven't had to put in this corner or give a point there to scale towards. I can just grab this corner and drag it in, and then I can just do the same here. Let's grab that corner, drag it in, maybe something about there, and then we'll just continue doing this throughout the rest of the corners until we get something that looks like a nice gradual transition. Now, this works as a really nice technique because you can come back very quickly and sort out any issues. For example, actually I think that one needs to be a little bit smaller. There we go. So this gives us our gradual transition, very easy to do. Let's come out of that and shade that auto smooth, and we've got this nice transition. Now the issue with that is this won't work on this cube. If I come here and we try and do exactly the same thing, so let's select that edge to that edge, Control and B somewhere here, and then I want to go and change these segments, so it will work here. Let's just do it on this one. But as soon as I try to do it on one of these edges that's on an angle, you'll notice that this cage now doesn't really work perfectly. It's gained a thickness because our vertices aren't exactly on a straight line, and that's only going to get worse and worse and worse. Actually, this would work okay for the one that's perfectly on 45 degrees if there is one, but this isn't going to work here. So let's just go back and undo that. So with that issue identified, well, we need to have a solution. So what I'm going to do is go into edge mode, and we're selecting this edge. So click, Control click down to there, and then I'm going to separate this. So Shift and D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to escape, so it's now back where it was, and then I'm going to press P and separate by selection. Now what this means is we've got the object here, which is the cube, and then we've got this line which has got each of these vertex points, which is effectively the corner of where the bevel would be. I'm trying to find a good way of explaining that, but you'll see what I mean. It's basically the point that centers the bevel. Now, what we're going to want to do is come to this edge. So we're going to come to the cube, bevel it, and you can see we've still got that edge here. And this is going to be our reference point. It's probably a good word for it. Now, what we're going to be doing is quite quickly wanting to swap from this object to this object. Now, you could do this all in one object, but I find it means it's easier to misclick things and generally find things annoying. So what we need is a quick way of doing this. And if you're in any viewing mode, be it sculpt mode, vertex mode, edge mode, face mode, whatever, and you want to go to another object, if you just hold your mouse over it and hit Alt and Q, you just transfer to that object in the same mode. So you can just transfer between them, or that one over there, whatever, really quickly. It's such a nice trick. It's used in sculpting a lot and doesn't seem to have found its way to a lot of people that use hard surface. Don't know why. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is select this object, select that vertex, and I'm going to want my cursor on this point. So I'm going to Shift and S, and this is the menu that you'll get if you don't have machine tools. I've turned the machine tools menu off, and we're going to click cursor to selected. Then I'm going to Alt and Q to come here, click, Control click, and then I can just scale this to this cursor. Now to do this, you need to make sure, if you come to your transform pivot point, that you have it on 3D cursor. It's probably on individual origins by standard or median point. Change it to 3D cursor, and now this will scale this bevel, if I press S, towards that cursor to be able to make us get a really nice thin bevel. Alt and Q, and we're back here, Shift and S, cursor selected, Alt and Q, click, Control click, S to scale it, and we could just move that in. And then all it is a matter of going between each one. It's a little bit tedious in terms of the button pressing, but it's pretty easy to do. So let's just scale that one in, and we can just keep going with this stage by stage by stage. So it's a pretty easy process. It's just a little bit slow and a little bit repetitive. There are definitely worse tasks in Blender that I've had to do, like cleanup, but I'd rather do it a more effective way. Let's just come to that edge and H to hide it. Also, it's destructive, so once it's done, unless you've got Mesh Machine, you can't really go back and change this. I mean, you can do, but I guess, in a way, it makes it less destructive because you can always come to this point, bring back your edge, and then go onto it, and then always decide that you want to change where your bevel goes to. So let's just select those ones there, and then S to scale it. So you can always fiddle around with this as much as you choose, but yeah, there are issues. And to be fair, it's also not going to be easy to get this perfectly smoothed off transition in a way that is definitely, I'm going to use inverted commas, correct. So let's have a look at the method over here, and this is going to be a non-destructive method, which is the first thing that's very, very nice about this. Now, again, there's a few simple tricks to make this work. One of them on this curved edge is the one that was actually a bit annoying to work out. And I think is the thing that probably would stop people using this as a technique normally if they didn't understand it. So make sure you're happy with this as we go through it. I'll really emphasize it as we get to it. So what we're going to do is actually use a modifier, and we're going to use a bevel modifier. We're going to have a look at this and realize that we don't want this on all edges. We only want it on the one edge. So I'm going to change my limit method from angle to weight. And this is going to be the important bit. Go to edge, click, shift click, and then press N. Come to item, and I can change my mean bevel weight up to 1, and now we've got that here. And we can change our amount if we want to, and we can change our segments. Now, what we actually want to do is change this one to be a lot lower. So I can change this mean bevel weight to 0.1, but you'll notice it then starts affecting everything else. This doesn't really work. It has issues when you've got the width type as offset. So we're going to undo that, and we're going to change it to percentage. Now, this then disappears everything in this instance. If you did this on a cube, it probably wouldn't have a problem, or if we were using an example over here, this would work straight away. So this is the bit I want to emphasize. This, to do it as a percentage, says the amount is percentage of the adjacent edge length. And that means that each vertex, each point here, needs to have edges coming off of it to know what percentage to go along. And at the moment, we've only got an edge in one direction. If you want to bevel it, we need to have an edge in two directions. Several ways of solving this. One, we could really tediously go through, press J, go through, press J, and so on. So that would be our first method that we could go through, just gradually going through and adding all these in. If you've got machine tools, this is vastly easy. You can just click, control click, and then you need to edit preferences. Let's type in machine tools, and make sure you've got your smart edge on. Close that out, and then we can just hit 2, and it puts in all the edges for us. Really nice, easy way. If you don't have machine tools, the other option is if you've got the add-on NSolve, you can just press Alt and 4 to open up NSolve, and then we're just going to use the join function. So there, come to our options with D, and I want multi-join. Then I can just click, drag to there, and we've got them all joined. And then just come out of NSolve. It's up to you how you do it, but either way, you've got to get all these edges there. You could probably also try the triangulate shortcut as well, so that might work. Once we've done that, bevel weight is 1, and then we've got our percentage currently at a tiny amount. We can just up that to whatever we want. So let's say I want it somewhere about 30%. Then we can do the trick as we'd expect it to work. I can come here and put my bevel weight all the way down. Let's call this 0.1. Next edge, 0.2. Next edge, you can see what we're doing here, 0.3, 0.4, and so on. Once we've got that done, let's just up our segment, something like that, and then we can shade it auto smooth. And what's great about this is with this working, I can just change my width percentage as much as I want. I can go from one that's really small, but still with this very nice transition from a thinner edge to a thicker bevel, or I could go really, really big, like all the way to 100%, though that does look a little bit janky. Somewhere a bit less is going to look better. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is a really, really nice way of doing this. Let's put on the wireframe, and you can see what we're doing as this works. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is the best method to use, and I think it is the simplest one. You just need to remember that you've got to have these edges in, because the percentage width type works off of edges. That's why if you've tried this before, it might not have worked. You didn't have the edges set up for this to work from. Hopefully you found that useful. It means you can go out and make some really cool, nice bevel transitions. If you did find that useful and think other people might also find it useful, please do hit that like button. It makes it vastly easier for other people to see these tutorials in their search results. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to do something to help support the channel further, leave a comment to please the YouTube algorithm gods, or you could even consider joining the Patreon. There's a link in the description, and there you get these videos a week early, ad-free, and other great perks as well. Have a great day, guys.